Welcome to Spare Talk. This is your host, Rod Weaver. I'm going to be trying something a little different today. We're going to be looking at October the 15th and events that happened in the bowling sport on this day in history over the past century or so. And I guess we'll just get right to it. We're going to start with of local interest to the tri-state area. An interesting news article from 1963 in the Daily Mail reports new 24-lane 10-pin bowling house to be erected on Pennsylvania Avenue soon by Frank Turner. This news report was written by journalist Dick Kelly, sports editor for the Daily Mail, and is as follows. Here's good news for the many bowling enthusiasts of the Hagerstown area, especially for the kegglers who prefer the 10-pin sport. Frank Turner, Hagerstown's #1 bowling proprietor and president of Turner Lanes Incorporated, announced today that plans have been completed for the erection of a new 24-lane 10-pin house on Pennsylvania Avenue just past the northern limits of the city on U.S. Route 11. Mr. Turner states, "The ground has been purchased and contracts signed for the purchase of the bowling lanes, pin setters, and other equipment. And the actual construction work is scheduled to begin in the near future, probably next week. We have obtained nearly 3 acres of ground which will provide the bowlers with ample parking space." And the article continues, "Right now plans call for the new 10-pin house to be completed by early next spring. When it is finished, it will be the only bowling establishment in the Hagerstown area devoted entirely to 10-pins. According to Turner, the Pennsylvania Avenue house will be ultra-modern in every way. The finest equipment will be installed, including air conditioning and wall-to-wall carpeting. It will be the 5th bowling house to be erected in recent years by Turner Lanes Incorporated. And the new 24 lanes will give Turner a total of 134 lanes in operation for duck pins and 10 pins. At the present time, the Turner Enterprises operate Pikeside Bowl in Martinsburg with 28 lanes, Southside Bowl in Halfway with 24 lanes, Long Meadow Bowl in Hagerstown with 34 lanes, and the dual lanes on U.S. Route 40 East with 24 alleys. In the Newport Daily News out of Rhode Island on October 15, 1974, the newspaper printed the TV listings for the local TV network or networks. Back in those days, people operated off an antenna. Unlike nowadays, we have cable TV and streaming and all that technology. So people were limited back then. But an interesting listing of the TV programs that were on the tube were as follows. At 5 o'clock in the evening, there was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. There was the Mod Squad. That was like a crime show. I think it was an hour long. There was Perry Mason, the lawyer show. There was also Mission Impossible, a show called It Takes a Thief, which was an hour long. There was Popeye the Cartoons. They were probably broken up into 3 or 4 cartoons in that half-hour segment. Then there was F Troop. Then at 5:30 there was The Electric Company, which was a children's show. There was The Adventures of Robin Hood, Gomer Pyle USMC, Flipper, and the Flintstones. But there was also Candlepins for Cash. So it's kind of interesting the way they had a bowling TV show mixed in with all the Hollywood and New York professionally produced programs. So that's just something that is noteworthy. There was a 1957 news piece from the Rutland Daily Herald, which is also a testimonial to the candlepin game and the popularity of it. It says the Rutland Business College forms Candlepin League. The Rutland Business College has formed a Candlepin Bowling League that will bowl every other Friday night. 4 teams are participating, and competition will start on October the 25th. The league bowls on Friday as a tune-up for the coming schedule. Well, it's interesting that an organization like a college or a business college would form a Candlepin Bowling League, even if it is 4 teams. There was still popularity and interest in the game. From 1975, the Ludington Daily News reported on a press release from Akron, Ohio, on the $100,000 AMF Pro Classic on tour. And the article is as follows. The $100,000 AMF Pro Classic is the newest tournament on the Professional Bowlers Association's national tour. The rich event will be held on Long Island next February as part of the PBA's nationally televised Pro Bowlers Tour, according to a joint announcement made by Thomas A. Meade, Corporate Vice President and Group Executive of AMF Bowling Products Group, and Joe Antonora, Executive Director of the PBA. The tournament will be sponsored locally by the Nassau County Bowling Proprietors Association and, according to that group's president, Howard Eisenstein, will be held at Garden City Bowl, site of many previous PBA tournaments. Dates for the AMF event are Tuesday through Saturday, February 17th through 21st, with the finals to be carried nationally by ABC television from 3 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over some 200 ABC-affiliated stations. We are extremely pleased to be part of the Pro Bowlers Tour, said Meade, noting that AMF was the PBA's first national sponsor in 1961 when AMF sponsored the then fledgling PBA's $60,000 National Invitational from Paramus, New Jersey. AMF has long been active in support of many outstanding sporting events, and the PBA has proved itself as a major integer in the world of bowling, said Meade. The big prize fund will help to draw virtually all of the top-ranking named stars of professional bowling to Long Island for the tournament, said Antonora in Akron, home of the PBA. Such stars of the tour as Dick Weber, Dick Ritger, Wayne Zahn, Steve Neff, Billy Hardwick, Carmen Salvino, Dave Davis, and Eddie Ressler are expected to enter the tournament in an effort to unseat Earl Anthony, who won at Garden City Bowl last February. From the New York, New Jersey area, entries no doubt will come from such outstanding bowlers as Johnny Petraglia and Mark Roth of Staten Island, Mike Limongello, Lindenhurst, New York, and Tita Semez, and Ed DeTola from New Jersey. The tournament is expected to draw close to 200 professional entries to Long Island, according to Antonora. The field will bowl through qualifying and match game competition until there are 5 remaining for the nationally televised finals on February 21st. Eisenstein's group will stage this outstanding event, with Stan Goldberg serving as tournament chairman. One of Goldberg's first tasks will be to organize a Pro-Am tournament for opening day, Tuesday, February 17th. Goldberg hopes to top the 750 Pro-Am entries who competed in 1975. He said that complete details about the Pro-Am will be announced shortly. Addition of the Pro Classic brings to 5 the number of $100,000 events on the PBA Winter Tour for 1976. The $100,000 Midas Open at Hartford, Connecticut, the $100,000 Showboat Invitational at Las Vegas, the $100,000 BPAA U.S. Open at Grand Prairie, Texas, and the $125,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions in Akron, along with the AMF tourney, helped to swell winter tour money for the world's best bowlers to well over $1.25 million. Here's an interesting tidbit from the Park City Daily News from 1962. And there's a reference to a comedian of the time named George Goebel, which doesn't really have much to do with the article, but there is an interesting note about it. George Goebel, still among the missing as a television regular, just as the sport pages announced a new six-fingered bowling ball, 2 separate 3-hole grips. George once had us all howling at a routine about a bowling ball he found with a thumb in it. What he could say about a 6-fingered bowling ball, I'm laughing already. We have a news item from the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico, from 1970, on this day in history. PBA being sued by femme bowler. Portsmouth, Virginia, as reported by the Associated Press, relayed that Dottie Fothergill, who heads a field of 64 professional women bowlers here to compete in the $20,000 Portsmouth Virginian Open, has filed a $2.5 million lawsuit against the Men's Professional Bowling Association. Miss Fothergill of North Attleboro, Massachusetts, says she wants a chance to compete for a part of the $2 million that's up for the $2 million that's up for grabs on the men's tour. The men compete weekly, while the women only have a dozen tournaments each year. She filed suit in Akron, Ohio. Since becoming a regular on the women's tour, Dottie, 25, that is age 25, has won in excess of $23,000. She became a professional in December 1967. She was Bowler of the Year in 1968 and 1969 and an All-American selection for the last 3 years. The left-hander who stands only 5 feet tall, Miss Fothergill is regarded by many as the world's leading woman bowler. But the PBA requires a bowler to hold a 190 league average. Miss Fothergill has carried a 207. She has won 6 WPBA tournaments and the Women's All-Star twice. In the last WIBC National, she scored an unprecedented sweep, winning singles and all events and competing on the championship team. Contacted at their office in Akron, Ohio, PBA officials acknowledged Miss Fothergill's suit was filed. Eddie Elias, president of the PBA and an attorney in Akron, said Miss Fothergill filed for membership last September. Other PBA officials said Miss Fothergill must maintain a 190 league average for 2 consecutive years. So there we have it. News clip out of Portsmouth, Virginia.